Ladies and gentlemen, 2 years ago when the Jewish News celebrated its 10th anniversary, the leaders of two of Britain's political parties, Gordon Brown and David Cameron, sent video messages to the reception we held to mark the occasion. One political leader, though, actually came along. Needless to say, we were incredibly honoured when Min Campbell walked through the door. We were even more honoured when he took to the podium to make a speech. It came as quite a shock to us then, when just 2 days later, he announced his resignation. Hopefully, we weren't to blame. And hopefully, the same fate won't befall his successor as Liberal Democrat leader, Clegg, who's joined us this evening. Of course, historically, Jews as individuals and as a community have been at the forefront of campaigns for liberalism and democracy. And yet, our relationship with the Liberal Democratic Party has been rocky. I'm sure this is a point we will hear made quite forcefully this evening. But it perplexes us that despite being Liberal Democrats, certain prominent members of the party are less than supportive or even openly hostile to the only liberal democracy in the Middle East. That said, as a newspaper, we've always found the party's leaders receptive to our views and more than happy to engage with us. And Nick is no exception. Since becoming leader a year and a half ago, he's written for us on no less than 3 occasions. And of course, he's here tonight, the very first party leader to take the spotlight in what we hope will become a series of Jewish News-hosted question times with prominent politicians. We're very honoured to have him here, and we're equally honoured to be joined by Henry Grunwald, President of the Board of Deputies. Not only a great campaigner on issues of concern to the Jewish community, but also at the forefront of the drive to instil Anglo Jewry with a sense of public pride, leaving it to the ghetto away from the ghetto mentality that historically afflicted us, encouraging us as Jews to sing and dance in the streets, proud of who we are and unafraid to stand up and be counted. Before I hand over to Henry, though, I'd like to invite Ed Forden, prospective parliamentary candidate for Hampstead and Kilburn, who helped to arrange this evening, to say a few words.
I'm told if you go on YouTube, there are actually singing and dancing photos, Henry, so I think we'll be looking tonight. No, seriously, welcome to everybody here tonight. I just want to say a few words, really, as a Liberal Democrat candidate, standing in Hampstead and Kilburn. To say this is a live issue is to underestimate it, and I think one of the things I often say to people is, quite often at a party conference, when the issue of the Middle East crops up, for most people it's an issue of international relations. Not quite a game of risk where you're moving the armies across the world, but it feels a bit like that. But when I'm campaigning in Hampstead and Kilburn, I can genuinely say it's an issue of domestic politics. For many of the people who I'm talking to on a daily basis, it's about their nephew who's been called up to serve in the army. It's about not being able to get through because the phone lines are down in Ashkelon. So in that sense, it's not just international relations when I'm out on the doorstep. I should add, I was out door knocking in Belsize the other day with the by-election going on. We always seem to have them. But and I knocked on the door, and there's a visitor on the door frame. The chap answered the door, and he's visibly Jewish. And I can see behind him the row of books. There's at least 1 degree in the house, if not 3. And he sees the rosette, and that, what I now regard as a Jewish smile comes over his face. He stands there, he goes, Liberal Democrats. And he says, come on, in Israel and Gaza, where are you? And at that point, it's like stage death. You have a choice. You either rise to the occasion or you get off. And so I said, I haven't really forgiven the Emperor Hadrian for burning the temple in AD 70. And he said, that'll do for me, quick, mind your head, lad. But quite seriously, it is precisely a live issue. And so for some of us as Liberal Democrats, we face it every day. The final point I should say, by way of confession, is we had Howard Dean, the Governor of Vermont, speaking at party conference. And he said that it was crucial that you sought to look like the constituency you were trying to represent. So I need to make it perfectly clear that this is a bull patch. But in that sense, for some of us, as I say, going door to door on these issues, Israel isn't some distant concept. It's a real issue. I've got 16,000 Jews in Hampstead and Kilburn, 9,000 Muslims, 8,000 Irish Catholics, and 5,000 evangelical black Africans. So trying to look like that constituency is quite interesting, but you're more than welcome tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Nick.